Ladies and gentlemen, within the cadet wing we have a deep and profound problem of magnitude previously unknown. Unbeknownst to the taxpayer, academics at the Air Force Academy is a matter of life or death. In an environment where there are not enough hours in the day to balance academics, military training, a healthy social life, and a survivable amount of sleep, academic failure is all too common. Due to the high academic achievement of an overwhelming majority of Academy cadets in high school, cadets are often overconfident and, as a result, unprepared for the academic intensity of the Academy. For military training at the Academy, we are taught very directly how to succeed, but in the academic world, this is not the case. We are expected to succeed in an environment that we are thrown into without adequate preparation, an environment which we endeavor to transform through the ideas presented.
AFCWI 38101 defines the roles and responsibilities of the squadron academic officer as being accountable for the squadron's achievement of academic success, develops and oversees implementation of squadron academic policies that ensure all cadets are achieving academic excellence and following all policies regarding academic registration, scheduling, and successful academic study environment, monitors and coordinates academic matters between the squadron and group, works with group staff to administer academic policies and procedures, represents cadet interests to the group, and ensures subordinates are trained in matters relating to cadet academic performance. On paper, the role of the squadron academic officer sounds pretty good. The problem, however, is implementation. 3-degree coaches, element leaders, and flight commanders have to comply with the Mosaic model. However, there's no method of accountability for the squadron academic officer. We're proposing a plan to hold the squadron academic officer accountable to their job title and description. The discrepancy is not entirely their fault, however, but rather what the role has come to be in many squadrons over the years.
Last month, the Dean announced that cadets at USAFA had the lowest rates of academic probation at Prague in over 20 years. However, this still represented 328 cadets, or approximately 8% of the cadet wing. Among these numbers, freshmen represent 146% of the cadets on academic probation, nearly half the total. By implementing this plan, we hope to reduce greatly the number of freshmen on ACPRO, and as the years go on, the number of upperclassmen as well, as our policies are implemented throughout the wing.
I bought a calendar to help myself stay organized.
Time management has gotten better, and I've set aside extra time for studying.
My study habits haven't really changed too much coming from high school to the academy, but the transition was still difficult, adjusting from civilian to military life, so that was definitely the biggest change.
So I spent a lot more time than before, I guess.
I've probably made the most of 5 or 10 minutes here and there.
Honestly, my study habits haven't changed very much. In high school, I wasn't very studious, and here I'm not studying very much either.
My study habits have not changed one bit since high school to here.
Didn't help me at all.
My AC officer didn't really help.
My AC officer helped me by telling me what to expect and definitely encouraging going to EI when I need it.
Not really, I guess. Not really.
He's shown me that C's aren't that bad and don't freak out about C's.
At the beginning of the year, our AC officer had us do mandatory WACU hours over the weekend and report into him. But after Prague, he stopped doing those. So now we're free on our own.
My academic officer did a couple WACU hours with me, and we had to report him in, but that wasn't really much. I was just kind of doing homework. So.
Can you tell us a little bit about good AC officer kind of models the program that we're talking about implementing?
Sure. I was fortunate enough my freshman and sophomore year to have now Lieutenant Claire Bieber as my academic officer at NCO. And she had this great plan where she considered my individual needs, where I wasn't really planning well or managing my time well. And so she had me write out my planner several weeks in advance, so I always knew what was going on. I never had a GR or assignment just pop up on me when I didn't have time to complete it. As well as having an Excel sheet with a grade logger, so I always knew exactly where I was in the class. And so wherever I was in the class, if I had a C-, for example, I need to get 2 hours of EI a week in that class. And so that would be an opportunity for me to bring my grade up in that class to something that's not deficient. And she used this plan for herself, and she modeled this through her own academic endeavors. and was extremely successful with it. So seeing her have the success with it, the success that she had implementing it on the volleyball team, really gave me encouragement that this was going to work for me.
Realize influence requires a leader to role model the behavior expected from subordinates. Followers can readily identify with these types of behaviors, and typically, the followers want to emulate the leader. These types of leaders also exhibit high levels of moral behavior. Their character strengths serve as examples, and their work ethic is of the highest standard. They exude confidence, integrity, humility, and serving others. Individualized consideration embraces a supportive climate in which leaders listen carefully to the individual needs of followers. Leaders act as coaches and advisors while assisting followers to become fully actualized. The singular focus of assisting followers to realize their full potential consists of two central elements: the development and support of subordinates. These two elements build upon the notion of effective leadership requiring a proactive approach. In other words, effective leaders develop high-quality relationships with their subordinates and create the conditions by which their subordinates achieve success. Intellectual stimulation is an important aspect of transformational leadership. Simply put, intellectual stimulation is a degree to which a leader promotes intelligence, rationality, and careful problem-solving within his or her own area of influence. A common thread among leaders who employ the concept is that they support divergent thinking and engender environments in which challenging organizational and personal norms is safe and encouraged. The overall goal of transformational leadership is to get people to do more than expected, reorganizing their capabilities and showing that their insight is valued and crucial to achieving that end. This is where intellectual stimulation comes into play.
So her modeling exactly what I needed to do and following up with me consistently throughout the week and months as the semester went on, that I was meeting these goals and tracking my grades and all the assignments that I had coming up, ensured that I was moving in the right path. And acting as that academic officer really helped me improve my grades and get off academic probation.
It is important to realize that the academic officer is actually the cadet academic training officer, similar to the military training officer. Because the cadets' academic training far outlasts their military or physical training, it's important that we give the academic officer the tools to train their freshmen in the same way that the military officers are allowed to train their freshmen. Because freshmen go through honor lessons and training sessions, we think it's also reasonable that freshmen might have academic lessons to ensure their success at the academy. Most cadets come into the academy with poor or no study habits at all because their high school was so easy for them. However, these deficient study habits will not bring success within the academic career of USAFA. Therefore, with these academic excellence sessions, freshmen will be prepared to face the rigors of USAFA while also becoming familiar with the academic process through increased interaction with their CATOs.
In order to equip 4 degrees with good study habits, we're proposing a series of 5 fourth-class academic excellence training sessions, FATES. These sessions would cover topics such as using a planner, using extra instruction effectively, time management, staying organized, the importance of a good study environment, and effective planning to take on a school week. These sessions would be conducted by the Cadet Academic Training Officer during an M5 MCQ period or during a night MCQ period. The training would be front-loaded in the semester so the 4th class cadets can use the tools throughout the semester and, hopefully, before they are in academic trouble. We decided that 5 sessions would be a good number because we also do not want to detract from the small amount of study time that cadets already have. The academic training officer would be given training on the material during the currently allotted time for academic officer training at the beginning of the semester. To facilitate uniformity, a standard PowerPoint would be used, much like in commissioning education. The program also opens doors for cadets to ask their academic officers questions about their study habits and how they have been academically successful at the academy. This also highlights the importance of having academic officers that are a role model in academics.
By preparing cadets for a mock ARC, which Group 3 is currently in the pilot process of doing, cadets will be more comfortable when facing the real hard ARC. And as any cadet who has faced a hard ARC will tell you, the preparation is key. An unsuccessful hard ARC can have severe consequences to include disenrollment.
Another program that the AC officers will hopefully implement under our plan is the implementation of a mock ARC program. By preparing 4th class cadets for mock ARCs, these cadets will be prepared for any future trouble they may face because of academics.
This figure here represents the three most basic groups of cadets at the Academy. Very, very rough. Up the top here, we have high achievers, the cadets that come into the Academy with good study skills or adapt very quickly and are also very intelligent. In the middle here, we have most cadets, not necessarily doing bad, but also not achieving that 3.5 and above. And then down here, we have the danger zone, where about 9% of our wing is right now. The goal of our program is not just to move those cadets out of the danger zone. We're not going to be able to get all of them because some people are just not motivated enough, or there are other factors that are keeping them from succeeding. So we are concerned about these people in the danger zone, but that is not the only effect that our program will hopefully have. We also like to take those cadets that are here in the middle and have them reach higher. Maybe they do not have the study habits coming in, and they learn them their sophomore year. This means that they had a year where they're not reaching their full potential, which factors into their cumulative GPA at graduation. So we would like to take the most cadets category and have them reach higher, maybe into the higher achievers, doing extremely well academically, or being on Dean's List, reaching a 3.0, when they might not have otherwise due to poor planning or bad study habits and other such factors like that. After all, skills like keeping a planner and staying organized are not totally intrinsic to school. They are lifelong skills that sustain the effectiveness of officers in our military.